The death toll in the Italian earthquake is rising. At least 250 now dead, nearly 400 others injured. Just a day after a powerful 6.2 magnitude quake hit, strong aftershocks still rocking the already devastated areas of central Italy. Search and rescue efforts are intensifying with every precious minute.
Well, the Italian authorities, Jim, certainly believe that the death toll can still rise and will still rise, and they say that they believe that there still could be quite a few people actually buried underneath the rubble, possibly trapped underneath the rubble. However, they also say they can't really put a number on it, and the reason for that is, of course, that this is a tourist region, and they believe that many people may have been here visiting their families when this earthquake struck. Of course, none of them really registered here when this disaster unfolded, and at the same time, it also happened in the very early morning hours when these people were asleep, and so they basically had no chance to escape. Now, throughout the day, you're absolutely right, we have seen the rescue efforts here intensify. The crews have been bringing in more heavy equipment, but it is those aftershocks that just keep making life so difficult for the crews here on the ground. We experienced one that was quite scary, actually, when a lot of buildings here started shaking, the ground was trembling, and there was one building that had already been damaged by the original earthquake that just absolutely crumbled, and the rescue workers who were nearby, all of them had to evacuate that area immediately. It took about half an hour before they could start again. So they are working under very, very difficult circumstances.
The 6.2 quake rocked the central part of Italy.
I'm in the center of Amatrice. This is the town that was one of the most devastated by the earthquake in Italy this morning. You can see here a car completely crushed, this building in shambles. Residents were asleep in their beds. It was about 3:30 a.m. local time when this earthquake hit. I felt it as far away as 100 miles away in Rome. And rescue workers have been racing against the clock to try to rescue those who are still trapped beneath the rubble. There have been rescue dogs here trying to smell any potential people who are trapped beneath, workers coming in, officials pleading for rescue supplies, blood donations, food, water, medicine, anything that needs to be brought up to these small towns. It is the worst possible time for an earthquake here in Italy, tourist season, people coming here to visit relatives and loved ones. And so when these earthquakes struck, these unassuming people, many of them were completely caught unaware. A devastating day for Italy.
There is a very, very massive earthquake coming to Italy.
C'è un terremoto massiccio, proprio massiccio, che è in arrivo imminente in Italia.
And you can see very clearly
E voi si potete vedere molto chiaramente
that the Lord speaks to me about the sexual sin in the church.
che il Signore mi parla del peccato sessuale nella Chiesa.
Then he shows me the earthquake.
E poi mi ha mostrato il terremoto.
Again,
Lo dico di nuovo,
I am standing here before you
sono qui in piedi, ergo davanti a voi
and I am announcing
e vi sto annunciando
that a massive earthquake is coming to Italy.
che è imminente un terremoto massiccio che sta giungendo in Italia.
I have seen the collapsed buildings.
Ho visto i palazzi crollare.
I see the light blue windows.
Ho visto quelle finestre azzurre.
The windows are collapsed, the light blue.
Le finestre, quelle azzurre, sono crollate.
That means
Ciò significa,
when this earthquake takes place,
quando questo evento avrà luogo, succederà,
the earthquake, terremoto.
il terremoto.
When this earthquake takes place
Quando il terremoto avrà luogo
and you watch your news,
e voi guardate il telegiornale,
you will see those windows.
voi vedrete anche quelle finestre.
You will see the exact description I'm giving.
Voi vedrete l'esatta descrizione che vi sto dando.
We want to get right to that breaking news. We're going to look live now at that Italian town of Amatrice. Deadly earthquake struck overnight. Town reduced to rubble right there. And take a look at these before and after photos. The before on the right, that utter devastation on the left.
Well, the quake was felt here in Rome for about 30 seconds or so of swaying and shaking, but at the epicenter, about 100 miles northeast of here, it lasted for a terrifying 142 seconds. And as you point out, it happened in the middle of the night, the worst time. Everyone in their beds. Rescue workers now flooding the scene, desperately trying to save lives. Overnight, a deadly earthquake bringing down buildings in central Italy. Rescue crews are still scouring the debris this morning. They're looking for anyone who may still be trapped. Walls of buildings are completely gone. On this building, only the wall remains.
And I am announcing
E vi sto annunciando
that a massive earthquake is coming to Italy.
che è imminente un terremoto massiccio che sta giungendo in Italia.
I have seen the collapsed buildings.
Ho visto i palazzi crollare.
The powerful 6.2 magnitude quake flattened mountain towns, burying people alive in their sleep. Many of the survivors were pulled out by neighbors, these mountainous communities hard for emergency crews to get to fast. Still, exhausted volunteers and firefighters race against time to free those still trapped. They know the darkness will work against them. Some of the devastation appears overwhelming. Last year, Amatrice was voted one of Italy's most beautiful historic towns. Today, whole areas are gone. Scores of people are still unaccounted for, and because most of them are visitors, authorities say making a final tally of the missing will be difficult.
This shows the main street through Amatrice. On the left, of course, now pretty much reduced to rubble. Many homes in the small town completely destroyed. One church that stood tall, losing its roof in the quake, and this is one of many residential buildings impacted by the tremor. And finally, this road.
I have seen the collapsed buildings.
Ho visto i palazzi crollare.
I see the light blue windows.
Ho visto quelle finestre azzurre.
Azul, the windows are collapsed, the light blue.
Le finestre, quelle azzurre, sono crollate.
That means
Ciò significa,
when this earthquake takes place,
quando questo evento avrà luogo, succederà.
the earthquake, terremoto.
Il terremoto.
When this earthquake takes place
Quando il terremoto avrà luogo
and you watch your news,
e voi guardate il telegiornale,
you will see those windows.
voi vedrete anche quelle finestre.
With the arrival of day, the damage has become clear. Homes torn up, towers crumbled.
breaking news.
Just into CNN, a magnitude 6.0 earthquake has hit central Italy, the second quake in the space of just a few hours. The quake struck 68 kilometers east of the city of Perugia, and it was powerful. It was felt as far away as Rome. A 5.5 magnitude tremor shook the same exact region earlier outside the town of Visso.
A series of strong tremors have struck central Italy. A 6.0 magnitude quake struck 2 hours after a 5.4 magnitude quake was recorded. The epicenters for both quakes were near Castellangelo sul Nera in the Marche region, and both were felt as far away as Rome, some 150 kilometers to the south.
There is breaking news now on Fox News Channel. This has just happened. A powerful earthquake has just struck Italy. You may have heard a couple of hours ago there was one that was a 5.5. This is a new one, and it's bigger. The second quake to hit the country in 2 hours happened in Perugia, which is the same general region of central Italy. And this is brand new pictures we just got in. So it's like 10:30 at night there, 10:39 to be specific. The U.S. Geological Survey reports this new quake had a magnitude of 6.4. Officials say today's previous quake was a magnitude 5.5. We're told that there was rolling felt, that there were buildings swaying in many different regions of Italy, though the Perugia area is certainly the worst of it.
I am standing here before you.
Sono qui in piedi, ergo davanti a voi.
And I am announcing
E vi sto annunciando
that a massive earthquake is coming to Italy.
che è imminente un terremoto massiccio che sta giungendo in Italia.
I have seen the collapsed buildings.
Ho visto i palazzi crollati.
A series of strong earthquakes hit central Italy Wednesday, striking fear among residents still rattled by a deadly tremor in August. But there were no initial reports of casualties. A 6.0 magnitude quake struck about 2 hours after an initial quake measuring 5.4. Early reports indicate that some old buildings have collapsed. Electrical power was lost.
Overseas now to Italy, where the most powerful earthquake there in decades, striking an area already reeling from 3 other recent quakes. Take a look at this. The earth there falling away sharply, those cars nearly tossed over the cliff. The hilltop village behind it almost completely destroyed, and people running in panic yet again. ABC's Jennifer Eccleston is in Rome tonight.
The powerful quake causing buildings in central Italy to collapse in seconds. The power of the 6.6 magnitude tremor, the strongest in nearly 40 years. The third major rumble in just 1 week, sending terrified residents running into the streets again. In Norcia, near the epicenter, nuns carried to safety. Tonight, the dust clearing to reveal the historic 14th century basilica in ruins. Reports of at least 20 injured. It's just 5 days after back-to-back quakes hit the same region. Nearby, Amatrice rocked again, 2 months since deadly tremors killed nearly 300. The view from above showing a town already utterly devastated, tonight reduced to ruins. The faces ripped off home after home. Aftershocks roll through the area, a population on edge and on the move. Thousands are now homeless and temporary camps are full.
People are out, have left. They've abandoned the area. A lot of people left back in August when a very strong earthquake shook the region, and even more people left last week. It is just incredible to have this many earthquakes of this strong magnitude so close together, and the people are already shaken up.
We all felt it here in Rome. The building shook tremendously at 7:40 in the morning. It turns out that the epicenter was about 100 miles or so north of here in central Italy. The civil protection authorities are still trying to work out how many people may have been left homeless, which buildings may have come down. The town of Norcia appears to have been hit. We've seen that the town's church has come down, and monks and nuns have been gathering in the town square. One woman who spoke to us from one of the affected areas said, "What are we going to do now?" And I think a lot of those people will simply have been too scared to go back to their homes.
New aerial footage has been released of the damage wrought on towns and villages in central Italy following Sunday's 6.6 magnitude earthquake. While no one was killed or seriously hurt by the tremor, authorities say more than 40,000 people were left homeless. Along with other critical infrastructure, several schools in the quake zone were also badly damaged, with officials saying it could take months, possibly longer, before they reopen. I don't think this school will open before the end of the school year. Realistically, it's going to open the following school year. While thousands of people have moved to hotels and temporary accommodation on the Adriatic coast, for now it's not clear how many schools have been affected by the disaster. Our fear is the children could basically lose a whole school year.
I am standing here before you.
Sono qui in piedi, ergo davanti a voi.
And I am announcing
E vi sto annunciando
that a massive earthquake is coming to Italy.
che è imminente un terremoto massiccio che sta giungendo in Italia.
I have seen the collapsed buildings.
Ho visto i palazzi crollare.
Images of damaged buildings are just now coming in. As you see here, this building that collapsed on the side, just getting to see what happened there in central Italy.
The powerful quake causing buildings in central Italy to collapse in seconds. The power of the 6.6 magnitude tremor, the strongest in nearly 40 years.